Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah. Ready for the test? Do you want 5 minutes to read? Yes? Yes or no?
Eating and eating disorders is not included, right?
Did I tell it is included? I don't remember. Did I ask you to learn full? No, right? Only that neurodevelopmental part, I think. Neurodevelopmental disorders. I'll ask only that. I'll give you 5 minutes. Please read first. Not read, revise first. We'll do a written test today. I'll write the questions on the board, okay? Till that time you can read. I'm switching off my video. Shall we start? You can start writing. Just read the question carefully and write. If you have any confusion in the question, please ask me. So I just read all the questions. First one is, what is the full form of ADHD? Second one, write the characteristics of autism spectrum disorders. Just write 3 or 4 points. That's enough. Third one, what is intellectual disability? Just define it. In fourth one, write one common feature of neurodevelopmental disorders, which means in the whole category of this set of disorders, we have some common features. So write any one among them. And how can you explain? Last question is, how can you explain hyperactivity in relation to ADHD? That is hyperactivity as a symptom of individuals with ADHD. That's what you should write. When you complete, please let me know. I'll give you 10 more minutes, right?
Ma'am, finish.
Okay. Again, I'm telling you, please make sure you learn your daily portions because your internal assessments are very important now. I hope you know about the new schemes of marking systems and all. Yeah. Especially for periodic tests and all, please try to score good marks. And I hope you remember about this chapter's activity. Those who have not, send me the previous chapters also, send it along with this. Three more minutes. Should I complete it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Who's absent today? Mehak and Amal, right? Okay. Completed, everyone? Ashish finished? Yes. Elvina?
Yes, ma'am.
Grishma? Sana? Amal?
My last question.
Last one. Okay. Write fast. 1 more minute. Okay. Amal finished? All right. How many of you did not get the seminar topic? Did not get. Like last chapter, some of you did, right? Was no problem. Others? Aishwarya, Elvina, Grishma. Okay, so in this chapter, seminar topics will be factors contributing to healing in psychotherapy. It's page number 102. That is one topic. Then ethics in psychotherapy. That will be the next one. Then alternative therapies will divide into half. First two paragraphs one person will take. Last two paragraphs another person. How many of you are remaining? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can select your topic now itself. Or else, at least by next class, you can tell me which topic you have selected. Okay? Fine. We'll just learn a few behavior techniques and then we'll stop. Please take your lecture note. Okay. So I think behavior therapy, the introduction is clear and it is based on learning principles that we do this form of therapy. Now, based on these learning principles, we have certain behavioral techniques. We have so many behavioral techniques, but we are discussing only about a few in this chapter. And the first one you would be familiar with, that is negative reinforcement. Please take down terms. Negative reinforcement. Okay. Next is aversive conditioning. Aversive conditioning. Then next is positive reinforcement. Then fourth one, it's a related term to positive reinforcement. It is token economy. I'll show you the pictures and videos in the next class. This one, I mean, then this class we'll just discuss what these four terms are. Okay. So negative reinforcement. Obviously, you know what that is. This is based on operant conditioning. Positive and negative reinforcement, they are based on operant conditioning. So what was negative reinforcement? Just think. When you hear the reinforcement, you know that it is to increase a what behavior?
A positive or a good behavior.
Positive, a desirable, or a good behavior. If it is a reinforcement, then it is done to improve or increase the frequency of a good behavior always. Think about that. When you hear the word reinforcement, think that it is to increase a good behavior or a desirable behavior. So, negative reinforcement. How did I ask you to learn with the signs? Negative means
Removing or reducing something that
removing
is
or
not
reducing
aligned.
something. Yeah. So negative means I told you it's minus. Positive means it will be plus. Plus means adding something, right? And minus means removing something. So removing something in order to make the person happy, in order to increase a good behavior. Can you think of an example from your real life? Something that you don't like has to be removed if you have to be happy, isn't it? Yes. If something is removed that you actually like, then that won't make a person happy. That won't increase a good behavior. So something negative has to be removed from a person's life or from the situation in order to increase a good behavior. So what would that be? Yeah, Ashish is telling something. Unmute Ashish. You cannot. Okay. An example that you can think of.
If a child is scoring good marks, then and the child is also going for a tuition, the parents can remove the tuition.
Yes, typical example. No need to go for tuition. The child did not like to go for tuition, so the parents told that after this child started to score good marks in the examination, parents decided not to send this child for tuition classes. Okay, so tuition classes, that thing is a negative thing for the child. For the parents it might be good, but for the child, it is, for the person who is experiencing that, is it is negative. It is creating a negative effect, isn't it? So that is being removed from the person's life or situation. And this person is increasing the good behavior. What is the good behavior here? Scoring good marks, studying well. Okay. So that is negative reinforcement, which we already knew. Now, aversive conditioning. What does that mean? In conditioning, again, and when you hear of reinforcement, think it's about increasing or improving a good behavior. When you hear conditioning, note that there'll be something related to association. Association means not the residence association kind of associations, the association of two stimulus or one stimulus and response, as in classical conditioning. Classical conditioning, what all did we pair in Van Pavlov's experiment? What all did we associate with?
The sound of bell and food.
Yes, the bell and the food for the dog, isn't it? Yeah, just like that, in any form of conditioning, like in forms of classical conditioning, we create associations generally. Hmm? So, aversive conditioning, what would that kind of association be? Have you heard of this before? No. Okay, this is especially used in terms of drug addictions, for alcoholics, for drug addicts and all. Hmm? And what happens is one aversive stimuli. Aversive stimuli means something that creates a negative effect on the person. For example, electric shock. Hmm? Any aversive stimulus is paired with something that this person is addicted to. For example, alcohol. See the textbook. In the textbook, you have an example. I think the last line on page 97. Aversive conditioning refers to repeated association of undesired response with an aversive consequence. For example, an alcoholic is given a mild electric shock and asked to smell the alcohol. Okay, a mild electric shock is paired with smell of alcohol. So the next time this person gets a smell of alcohol, what would he think of, or what would she think of?
Electric shock.
Electric shock again. So through continuous pairing or through continuous association, this person will associate this smell of alcohol with the negative stimulus or the aversive stimulus, which is the electric shock in this situation. Okay, so that association will be there. Similarly, in Ivan Pavlov's experiment, what happened? When the dog hears the sound of the bell, it starts salivating because it, expects that the dog will get food right after the bell, isn't it? Just like that, in humans also this was done, but nowadays it's not much applicable. Still, this was used, and what is done? This electric shock is given, then the smell of alcohol is presented. So next time, through continuous trials, after a few days or after a few times of trials, when this person smells alcohol, he or she will associate that with the electric shock. So will the person go near the alcohol again? Less likely. Okay, that is how it works. That is aversive conditioning. Now, just understand the concepts. We'll discuss more examples with pictures and videos in the coming class. Okay. Since we don't have much time, not showing it now. Okay. Next is positive reinforcement. What is positive reinforcement? That also you know. Hmm.
Giving something the child likes if the child does something good or a desiring behavior.
Not only this is not only applicable for children, but it is applicable for all people of all ages. Okay. Usually we discuss about children's examples. That's why it's coming automatically. Okay. So positive reinforcement again. When you hear the word reinforcement, think that it is to improve a good behavior, improve desirable behavior, to increase the frequency of a good behavior. Okay. Positive reinforcement would be adding something to the person's life in order to increase that good behavior. So adding something means they can be presented with gifts, then praise, encouragement, words of encouragement. Then for adults, it might be related to the promotions, salary increments, all those things. Okay, positive reinforcement. Then token economy, I know that is a new term, but what do you mean by token? Where have you seen a token? Where all have you seen a token? Don't tell me you don't have heard about it or you don't have seen it. Yes, I cannot hear you, Reena.
Hospitals,
Hospitals for
consultation.
consultation, yes. You're given token so that you can wait for your chance, isn't it? Yes. Then, where else have you seen tokens? How many of you have been to Lulu Mall?
Baggage counter.
Okay, baggage counter. Why are you given a token in the baggage counter? For what
So,
purpose? Ah,
so when we come back, so when we give this token, they will give our belongings.
belongings. Yes, correct. Then, where else? Ah, yes, Ashish. Ooty. You cannot understand. Just unmute and see if you can speak. No. He'll write and show. Okay. Anywhere else?
In textile shops sometimes for some packaging, then one section and all there. Ma'am.
Yeah, for delivery, isn't it? After billing.
Yeah.
Yes, for that also you might get a token. Okay. Then then Elvina, our main thing.
Food.
Yeah, in food counters also you get tokens, isn't it? Otherwise, mm, especially when you go for ordering pizzas and all, you'll have to wait for your chance. Or if you make the payment, your bill number will be called, or your chance, your tokens will be called out, or it shows on that mark you screen. Numbers will be shown. Then, Ashish, what were you writing, my dear? Did you write anything? No. Okay, fine. Anything else? Any other tokens that you know? No. Okay. Have you heard the term token of advance? Then, as a token of gratitude, as a token of love. Yes. Where have you heard that?
They go for an inauguration something for the guests they will give something.
Yeah, for the chief guest, they will give something. Okay. When you go for shopping, then you get some complimentary items from certain shops, isn't it? And they say, thanks for shopping. That is again a token of gratitude. Yes. So that increases your chance of going to that shop again. Next time, if you want to have a mass shopping, you would go to that shop again, isn't it? So that you get compliments along with it. And you become the regular customer of that shop. So just like that, we have token economy. Token economy, the basic principle behind token economy is, as I told you, positive reinforcement. Hmm. So for every good behavior, the person is given a token. Whichever form it might be as simple as a sweet or a chocolate. So for every good behavior that, again, if we take the children's case, then for every behavior that the child does, he or she will get a chocolate. Suppose he or she is cleaning his or her room on his or her own without the parents even telling them to do so. That is a good behavior, so one chocolate. Then next can be another form of good behavior, that is another chocolate, that is given another token. Okay. Now, another form of token economy is when the children are given tokens as in the form of good points. Yes, they'll get good points, or they'll get stars or good marks for which they can use in another situation uh, for their own benefit. Do you understand? Like, for example, again, I will take the examples of children. If they are cleaning their own rooms, if they're washing their own clothes on their own, without the parents telling them to do so, they get good points. Hmm? And then the parents will tell them, you can make use of this good points when you feel like. So they are like tokens. Suppose one Friday morning they think that they don't want to go out. They don't want to go out. They want to stay in at home with the parents and enjoy the weekend. So the parents allow them to do so because of the good point. So they can use the token as an exchange for something that they want. That is also useful with these tokens. So what is the basic principle? What is the basic goal of using these tokens? To increase the good behaviors that individuals engage in. Okay. So that is about token economy. We'll discuss more about this in the coming class. We have one more hour today, right? Okay. That's it. Absentees are again Mehak and Amal. Isn't it? Anybody else? No. Okay, then we'll wind up. Thank you. Please go through the text and about the seminar topics. Okay. Okay, then thank you.